What's up, everyone? How you doing? I hope you're having a great day, night, weekend, whatever time of day it is, or whatever time of night it is. I hope you're having a good one. I am so excited because today I am actually doing my first vlog about Nosferatu. So I have been wanting to do a series for a really, really long time, and I haven't really been able to find anything since doing my X-Files videos and recaps to kind of fill that void, and it's left this like gaping hole in my soul. And I've been wanting to do some type of horror series because I absolutely love horror series. I'm not always in love with every horror series if it gets too graphic and violent. Like, I'm not a big slasher fan, but I like the creepy series. I like scary stuff. Obviously, I'm a huge X-Files fan. So if you've watched my X-Files vlogs and you're looking for a new series to watch, I do want to say I have no way of knowing how good this series will actually be because I've only watched one episode, which I really enjoy, and I've read about half the book, which is really, really good. The very first episode I'm gonna recap in this video. I do have to warn you guys, I might talk a little bit about spoilers because I am following the book and the series at the same time, and what I would like to do is do a recap of every episode as it airs every week. One problem that I've encountered in my quest to find a new series to fill my gaping hole, most of the series that I've enjoyed have been released all at once and I've binged them in a couple days. I have trouble collecting my thoughts to like go through and review because it's been like, you know, anywhere from 8 to 12 episodes all at once. So I figured this would be good because they're doing a new episode every week and there'll be time in between to take a breath and think about it. Fuck me. Next thing I know, I find out that they're actually streaming the whole series and it's available right now on AMC Premiere. Now, AMC Premiere is a streaming service. It's like a bonus add-on if you already have AMC through your cable provider. It's an extra $5 a month. So if you have that, you can actually go ahead and binge the whole season. But what I'm going to do is do a vlog every week for each episode and a recap and a review, and let's follow this story and let's go on this adventure together. I like shows where you have to try to figure things out and not everything is clear and you have to piece things together like a puzzle. I'm not sure how it's all going to come together at the end, but at the same time, during X-Files, we weren't sure if it was all going to come together at the end either, and it really didn't. You failed me, Mulder Scully. So without further ado, let's just jump into the first episode of Nosferatu. So the very first episode is called The Shorter Way. If you're familiar with the book, and if you've gotten about as far as I have, which is to page 262, you'll know that The Shorter Way is the name of the covered bridge. So I was very curious to see how this would translate onto screen and how they were going to tie in everything that I'd read. The series opens with Carol the Bells, which is a great choice to open for creepy Christmas songs because that's probably one of the creepiest Christmas songs. So this whole teaser starts off with a really, really creepy feel. It actually does feel very X-File-ish because you have the teaser and it's one where you're not quite sure what's happening, but you see something bad. I really like that format of storytelling, and I hope that as the series continues, they follow that format. We see a boy sleeping in his bed, and it seems like his parents are having sex. Adults are having sex in the next room, and he can hear them. Creepy. So the child interrupts a little shag session and wants to come and sleep with them. Kid says he's lonely, the parents send him away, not really gonna be winning any Parenting of the Year awards. So child goes to watch some television, the television goes blank, he hears oh Christmas tree singing, he hears holiday music. Nothing off about hearing holiday music when it's not the holidays. Goes out to his front step, sees a candy cane, looks down, sees a car. Nothing strange about a 1938 Rolls Royce with its doors open with presents and Christmas music playing. Kind of like a classy version of the man in the van with candy. I don't know why he went in, but he did. Probably because his parents are mean. Whoever's banging the kid's mom gets up, walks around. We see a man approach him and inject him with some type of syringe, and he falls to the ground. Once the child gets in the car, we see for the first time Charlie Manx. I have to tell you, his voice kind of set me off a little bit because he sounds a lot. I'm sure he's going to be really, really scary and horrifying, and he is, and I got used to it, but it sounds a lot like Grandpa Simpson. So it took me a little bit of time to get used to the voice, just because it does sound like Grandpa Simpson. And he says it's past your bedtime, and the door shuts. You're past your bedtime, little boy. I think that was a goat. Guys, this is supposed to be scary. I'm so sorry. I'm really, really sorry. The door slams, the boy gets locked inside the car. Now that they're in the car together, the presents have disappeared and things are starting to look really scary and the boy starts to panic. Charlie reassures the boy that the presents will return when they get to Christmasland. Every day is Christmas and happiness is against the law. Now, I don't know about you guys, but Christmas stresses me the out. And of course the boy still wants to get out. He doesn't want to go to this Christmasland because there's creepy Grandpa Simpson sitting in the front of the car. The other attacker who attacked the gentleman of the house, who we assume to be working together with Manx. Oh shit. And she ends up crawling out of the house onto the lawn, and Charlie Manx's henchman proceeds to snap her neck. The old man and the boy roll off in the Rolls Royce. Moving on, we see the intro, which I thought was really kind of cool. First thing we see is an eyeball, and as you guys know, and you will learn by the end of this episode, this is a spoiler for later on in the episode, Vic, the brat, gets pains in her eyes. We see the map of Haverhill, the town where Vic lives, the headlights of the Wraith, Rolls Royce, the car traveling away to Christmasland, the dirt bike, traveling across the Shorterway Bridge. Ooh, there we go again with the eyeball. Those, I'm not sure what those are. The gas mask. If you're following the book, I'm not going to say anything about it, but there's a purpose for it. And then we were taken to Haverhill, Massachusetts, and we are shown a picture of the Shorterway Bridge. So then we meet Vic for the very first time, and her friend, seemingly somewhat estranged friend, Willa, who she and her mom are cleaning a house for. Willa invites Vic out to a party that her parents are having at their lake house in Lake Winnipesaukee, and she hesitates a little bit because there's obviously like a little difference in classism. Vic obviously wants to go to college. Her mom pretty much spells out that they can't afford to send her to school, and that she wants her to clean houses with her for the rest of her life. They go home to Vic's house. We meet Vic's father for the first time. The parents automatically start bickering, and it cuts away to another scene. First thing we notice, if you're following the books, is the FU earrings, which our librarian friend here has. I don't know if what happens in the book with the earrings are going to happen in this story, because it seems the timeline is all shuffled around. Maggie finds herself upon the scene of the crime where the boy in Iowa was kidnapped, a scene from the teaser, and she's talking to local police about it and asking them what happened. You hear that? That is the ice cream man, and I'm just terrified of the ice cream man right now. You know what? It's just perfect setting for this vlog because you can hear the creepy ice cream man music. Maggie notices the candy cane on the ground. She picks it up. She takes a look at it. That is really loud. So Maggie has found the candy cane, and the ice cream man is going nuts. The ice cream man is still here. We cut back to Vic at her house. Her parents are bickering at each other. She wants to get out. She wants to get away. She gets on her bike and leaves. There's something mentioned in passing of a lost credit card. So I wasn't sure what the difference was between the book and the series with the dirt bikes. Now, it makes sense for her to have a power bike when she's older, since the events that take place in parts of the book are actually taking place later on. But I believe the Raleigh in the book is a dirt bike, and in the series, it's a power bike. But it also looks cooler and seems more badass to have a girl, you know, riding around on her power bike. So Vic grabs her badass dirt bike and finds herself in front of this covered bridge, which looks like it's literally about to fall down. She rolls her dirt bike onto the bridge, and she notices there are bats. But she looks on the wall and she sees Willa painted in green on the wall. There's like a high-pitched staticky noise, almost like a ringing in your ear noise. If you ever have had tinnitus, it's kind of like this, but it's like times 10, it seems like, in this show, like whatever she's getting. And then it also cuts away. We see the old man getting some type of static on his radio. We see the little boy in the back looking very pale and not looking so good. Vic then leaves the bridge, goes back to town, comes across her younger friend who's made a drawing of her cat for her. As Vic is talking to the young neighborhood friend, the little girl, you do hear the ringing again in her ears, that tinnitus, like times 10. Vic goes back home, has a conversation with her dad, who seems to want to tell Vic something. He says, your mom and I, and then she interrupts and says, well, mom wants me to clean houses with her. And he clearly wanted to say something there, and I think later on in the episode we learn why he was trying to tell her something. We get to Vic going to school. She obviously hates this town. She doesn't like the school. In the school, Vic talks to the janitor, and the janitor's name is Bing, which is interesting, and I don't want to spoil it because it's a very important character that we're going to learn later about. That's all I'm going to say. but it is very different from how it is in this book. This character is very different. Cut to the library, we see Maggie with her bag of Scrabble pieces, and she asks, "Where is Daniel?" And she reaches in her bag, and you see her arm disappear. Clearly she's done this before, and this is a routine, or she has some type of power. When she pulls the Scrabble pieces out, it spells out the Wraith. And we know where that is. Grandpa Simpson! Okay, I'm sorry. I had to bring it back. I'm sorry. You can just click a dislike on me now. It's okay. I totally understand that. I deserve it. She's in art class and she's drawing the bridge, and her teacher mentions in passing that she had her first kiss on the bridge. And we learn from the teacher that the Shorter Way Bridge was actually demolished 15 years ago. When Vic is looking at the drawing of the bridge, you see her getting a little bit disoriented, it becoming a little bit blurry, and you hear the static once again. Then it cuts to the old man in the car driving again. Very, very creepy. We see the headlights. He says to his henchmen that he did a sloppy job in the house taking care of the parents, and tells him that he's not on the nice list, he's on the naughty list. And then he proceeds to throw him out the door to what we presume is his death. Yep, he's dead. Bye-bye. Charlie Manx has a little bit more hair, isn't looking as elderly or as frail, and the child is definitely looking more pale. Takes to the next scene, we see Aunt Carrie's and a watch, and this is in Winnipesaukee. I believe the name of the diner in this book is called Pete Sweat, and there is a mention of the Phi paper up on the wall. In the diner, Vic talks a little bit about her art with her dad and shows him the drawing that she made of the cover bridge, the Shorter Way Bridge. And he also confirms that the bridge was demolished and that he was part of the demolition team. Now, in the book, it happens when she's younger, and it's a little bit unclear, but I think it happens around the time when she discovers it, from what I understand, from what I gather by reading the book, when she's like 8 years old. So that would probably be about like 9 years before when this is. One of the things her father's upset about in the book is that he didn't get to be part of the demolition team that actually destroyed the bridge, because that's what he does. So now we get into like the teenage angsty part, when Vic kind of ditches her parents to go to the lake house party at her friend's Willa's house. And when she gets there, it turns out the writing on the wall at the bridge, the green writing on the wall, was right, because Willa's mom has their missing credit card. I have to say this is teenage angst done well, because once again it touches a little bit on the classism and the different expectations of society norms. Even the mom at the end of the scene kind of offers up for Vic and her mom to go to a shelter if she needs it. So she gets annoyed, she leaves. Cut back to Iowa, we have Maggie talking to the police officer again at the local police station, urging him to look into the Rolls-Royce rape. Maggie mentions to the officer, who knows her by name, that the Scrabble is what tipped her off about the rolls and has given her this clue. It's clear that the police officer and her have been through this once before, and they even allude to a past case that may have been solved with her Scrabble pieces. Vic goes back home to celebrate with her parents and hang out with her parents. No sooner do we have a fleeting happy moment of everyone singing around a campfire. The next morning, she finds herself overhearing more bickering of her parents. She goes into their room and they tell her that her father has lost her watch. Now, throughout the book, there are different items that go missing that she goes to retrieve throughout the years. Like in the book, there's a bracelet, there's a photograph, there are different items that she goes looking for. So she gets to the Phantom Bridge and she passes more green writing on the wall. This time it says Aunt Carrie's, which is the diner. So when she gets to the other side, she ends up right in front of the diner. And you immediately hear the high-pitched ringing in her ear, and you see her eyes start to turn red. She goes inside the diner despite being disoriented by this ringing in her ear and the pain in her eye, and obviously this migraine. And a man inside the diner knows exactly what she's there for, the watch, and he hands it to her. And when she gets outside, there appears to be a man that works inside the diner that sees the bridge. So we know that other people can see the bridge now on the other side, because this man clearly sees it, and he says it's a freaking heart attack. I'm not quite sure if that's what I was expecting him to say, but he can clearly see it's there. And then we get more of that ringing, that high-pitched ringing. Once you get to the other side, her eye is extremely bloodshot. The ringing in the ear is extremely intense. She's clearly having a really, really bad migraine. She looks back, and the bridge is completely gone. It's just not even there. So when she gets back to town, everything is in slow motion. She's clearly really disoriented, having some type of side effect from whatever happened And then there's a really quick flash, and if you blink, you'll miss it, but this looks like a gas mask upside down. And then she falls to the ground, and we see a stack of what looks like library books spinning around. And she also sees a flash of Maggie's Scrabble pieces saying the Wraith. And then we see a visual of Charlie Manx. We get more high-pitched ringing, and then flash to Charlie Manx back in the car with the child. Charlie and the child appear to be in a garage, and he pulls a map out. And on this map, there's a little glowing light, and on it, you see on the map a glowing light over what is said the shorter way. So at this point, there is some connection right now that Charlie is feeling to Vic. So Daniel wakes up and he says that he doesn't feel so good. And visibly, he's really starting to look bad. You can see the veins, varicose veins inside his neck, circles under his eyes, and he notices this, and he says something about this to Charlie Manx. He says that something's happening to me. Charlie Manx reassures him that they're gonna go to Christmasland and he should go back to sleep. Then we go back to Vic, who appears to be having nightmares about the old guy, but not how he looks now, how he looked in the beginning, the old Charlie Manx. When Vic wakes up in bed, her dad tells her that she had been passed out and she's running a fever. And then he pretty much tells her that he's a mess and has an alcohol problem and that his wife is crazy. So right after that, it cuts to Maggie in the library, who's conjuring her Scrabble pieces, and she asks them how can she find the Wraith, and it spells out the brat. Cut back to Vic in bed. She wakes up, and her mother informs her that her father has left them, and not just left her, but left them both, which sends Vic back on her bike running out of the house. She gets back on her bike, goes back to the shorter way, crosses the bridge again. Up on the wall, there's green writing. It says Tiffany's. She ends up on the other side of the bridge, outside what is presumed to be Tiffany's house, and sees her father with this other woman. Meanwhile, Charlie Manx and Daniel appear to be going to a frozen wasteland, which is starting to look like Christmasland because there is snow, but it doesn't look very Christmassy. It looks scary and deserted and cold. And then it cuts away to Bing. Bing notices an advertisement for Christmasland. So Daniel isn't looking so good, and Charlie is looking great, young, and Daniel's lips are crusting over. He really looks like a skeleton. His eyes are all sunken in. Charlie Manx tells Daniel he'll drop him off at Christmasland, where there'll be toys and games and funs and rides, while he goes off and runs errands. And Charlie Manx asks Daniel if he's ever played Scissors for the Drifter. That's a game that I'm not familiar with. I have a good feeling that it's not a pleasant game, and I have a feeling we're going to find out what that is. Charlie Manx informs Daniel that he's going to be taking a trip to a place called Haverhill, Massachusetts, and we all know who's there. Vic. We see Daniel smile and his teeth look like razors. And that is the end of the first episode. I want to know what you guys think, what you guys are looking forward to. If you're fans of the book, please leave a comment below. If you want to follow along, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that when I upload a new vlog, you get the notification. Overall, I really liked it. A couple people I noticed online were saying they thought it was a little slow and boring at times. I never once didn't feel engaged. I feel like these characters are really well cast and well thought out in an episode where it's introducing storylines and characters, and especially for something, I mean, this book is really thick. I mean, it's like freaking, how many pages is the book? So the book is 760 pages, and I believe they're doing 10 episodes. So that's a lot to put into 10 episodes. And as I mentioned, I'm only about halfway into the book. I don't know how far along they're going to go in the book with this season, but I am very excited to see more. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very engaging. The overall feel of it is very, very creepy. I'm really not into slasher, like action, killing, and horror the whole time. I feel like they are building to something. I'm curious to see where it goes, and I am very hopeful. It does have a lot of elements that I really appreciate about a series that is creepy and is a little bit hard to figure out. I'm glad that I have the book because I have a little bit of a guide, because usually I'm really horrible at figuring these things out. But let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Thank you guys for watching. And I just want to let you guys know that on this channel, I'm going to take most of the political and the other like pop culture commentary vlogs. I'm going to put them on another channel. And I'm going to keep this channel to mostly fandom related stuff. When I say pop culture, I mean like current events. Pop culture as far as like movies, TV shows, anything paranormal related or horror related or slightly off news related, I'm going to put on this channel, and I'll do vlog reviews of TV shows and movies and stuff like that channel. I'll put links down below as I develop those channels and I develop content for those channels. And if you have any suggestions of something you'd like me to cover, let me know. I'd rather do something that isn't released all at once so that we have a weekly thing going on instead of all at once binge something and then have all this like 12 episodes to do. That seems like a lot, but I am open to hearing suggestions. So please leave a comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and until next week. See you later.